Okay. Okay. Right. Welcome, everyone. I think we're live. Tim, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Tim?
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Good. So we're live. So anyway, welcome everyone to another episode of Decentralized Chain. If you guys love Commonwealth, then make sure you hit Commonwealth in the comments below. Smash up the likes because this is going to be an absolute cracker of an interview. And as you all know, on this show, we explore the greatest, the best things happening in crypto right now. And today, we have a special guest with us, Tim McCann, COO of Commonwealth. And it's a platform that uses blockchain technology to create Commonwealth for all participants. If you don't know what that means, you will do within the next 30 minutes. So show some love, guys. Make sure you're smashing up the likes. I can see in the comments below, everyone is shouting Commonwealth. So Tim, welcome to the stream. Great to have you here. How have you been?
Great for us. Thanks for having me, man.
Anytime. So look, we're going to jump straight into it, really. Commonwealth. Now, what is the problem that you guys are trying to solve in the crypto? I know actually, but for our viewers, what is it that they're going to get out of Commonwealth? What is it that you guys are actually trying to do?
Yeah, no, good question. Just keeping it short, I think we've got a big problem in crypto for us. The whole model of how crypto projects are funded and how they're offered then to the community or to the public, it's a bit broken. And I think, in the last hype cycle, a lot of people would have got fed up with the fact that some people who have privileged access were able to get really, really good opportunities, be able to invest into some projects which did hundreds, even thousands of X's sometimes. And then they go onto the open market and then the retail can buy in to a certain stage. But then what happens, of course, I think we all know, the people who have invested earlier, they take their profits and they essentially not because they're cynical, but because they are, profit driven, they end up dumping on the people who actually matter the most, which is the retail, which is the community, which is probably everyone here listening.
It's a valid point that you mentioned, because I got back into crypto late 2016 into 2017, and one thing I remember back in the ICO era was back then you could pretty much get into most projects, in all honesty, but it was a completely different space back then. You could chuck something at anything and usually it did well. But when we went into the previous bull cycle that we've just come out of back in 2021, actually, I did notice that the landscape had changed. It wasn't as easy to get into some of the sort of serious projects that you see in the space. Actually, there was a lot of, it became actually almost who do you know that could help you. And in fact, if you're an everyday investor, you don't really know many people in the crypto community other than what you hear, through social. So, trying to find that opportunity has become significantly harder overall. So,
yeah,
I suppose the next question then, really, what it comes down to is, can you give us a quick overview of exactly how Commonwealth would work? I mean, don't have to go into the detail, but, just keeping it simple. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, we are a tech company like every other cryptocurrency project is, or any other blockchain company is. We're tech first. So we've identified that there's this problem, but we think technology that is available in blockchain and in Web3 can solve this problem if it's designed properly. So what we've done is we've designed a protocol completely permissionless. It's going to run all on smart contracts, which will in the background facilitate a platform layer, which is an application like anything you'll get on the iPhone or the Android store or on your web browser. And through that application, through that app, anybody like my mom or my dad who might be a little bit crypto curious can go in there. They can open up this app and they can say, oh, cool, I can invest into a meme coin fund. Let's use something that's very topical right now. And they're like, I've heard about these meme coins. My son, did 100x there. So they can actually push the button and they can invest with $100 or whatever using their credit card into a pool of assets, which is essentially a fund. Now, once that $100 goes in the background, all the smart contracts start going. And from that, the moment my mom or my dad has invested that $100, right through until that particular set of investments becomes profitable and they get the money back. All of that is done permissionlessly through smart contracts. And if the fund has performed well, they will get money back, and all of the value that's generated through fees and transaction fees and success fees and so forth goes back into the protocol for the benefit of everybody who is a governance entity. So anybody holding the wealth tokens is actually the people then who benefit from the success of the protocol. So there's two things. People can use it as retail investors. They can invest into these fund products or whatever. And the other thing is, if you are a wealth token holder, who many of you listening might be in the future, I hope, you are the ones, kind of owning that protocol, and you are the ones to benefit from whether or not those funds do well, which is very different because most VC funds are very centralized, of course, and it's a few people, the GPs, the owners of those funds, who are the ones who do well, really, really well, benefit from all the profits that the funds generate. So it's a completely different model, and we think decentralized is way more fitting for Web3 than the legacy model that we've inherited from Web2, from Silicon Valley. You've heard it all before.
Interestingly, I can see in the comments here, I've got a few questions being asked, and one of them seems to be, and maybe there's a bit of a confusion. They're saying, why should we use Commonwealth when we can also do the same through launchpads?
Yeah, great question. Now, I don't know if any of you have used launchpads recently. I have. I'm actually, I should tell you guys, I'm a VC. I've got a VC company called Metavest Capital. We're one of the founders of Commonwealth. We were the ones who identified this glaring issue in Web3 architecture in the VC investment space. And we've put together this whole idea and this initiative to bring to market Commonwealth, right? So in my other life as a VC, we've sometimes tried to use these launch pads, right? And we have capital, so we'd be able to actually get one of the top tiers in the launch pads. But let's not forget, a launchpad is only about a single project, a single investment, right? So you're hoping that one investment does well, whereas Commonwealth is a pool of investments which spreads the kind of, let's say, the risk across various investments rather than just one. Whereas a launchpad is a one-shot pony, let's say, and also heavily gamified. I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but most people can only get in at a certain lower tier on the launch pads, and then you're front run essentially by everybody else who's above you in that tier. But let's not forget, the people who are using the launch pads are still quite late in the investment, the stage of the investment. The VCs have already invested at lower rounds before the launch pads come in. So you're getting in way earlier with the Commonwealth app and protocol than you would with a launchpad. So it's completely different to the launchpad model, and I think way more advantageous for people who want to invest in earlier stages.
Exactly. I think, and I can see one of the comments here, people are saying private versus public. And I think one of the things that I'll point out here usually is when public hear about the launchpad, you're usually getting in at a public sale price versus what Tim's just said now, which is, when you come in much earlier, you actually come in at a much more favorable investment round, actually. Good. Makes sense. Yep. So hopefully that's answered the question that we've got there. Now, I suppose what people are asking now here is, what do we need to do and what do we get in return?
Yeah, good question. So I suppose the timeline's important here, guys. So the actual application that I mentioned is not available yet. We, unlike most other blockchain crypto companies, we have actually built something, though. We are 80% through the development of the Commonwealth protocol and the application layer. We will do closed beta testing within about 1 month, open beta testing within about 2 to 3 months, and then later in the year, I can't say exactly when, but it'll definitely be this year, and hopefully earlier than later, you will actually be able to have the Commonwealth app live, and you can use it to do these retail investments that I talked about. Now the opportunity is you can get access into the early stage of Commonwealth itself.
There you go.
Right? So right now, and this is our take on a fair go-to-market strategy, in that we didn't invite private investment into Commonwealth. It would have been quite easy for us to go to any number of our networks and say, we're building this kick-ass platform, you haven't seen anything like it, get on board, we'll give you a great valuation, you can have a chunk of our token allocation. We haven't done that. So this is completely atypical. We've taken the hardest route to market because we want everybody in the community to be able to get in at the same stage as anybody else. So it's a fair launch in that sense. And the way we've done that is through Genesis NFTs. Genesis NFT Series 1 is completely sold out. It was already done when we were in stealth. It was Kyle, our founding partner, went to his community and said, guys, I'm involved with something really cool. I can't tell you much about it now, but if you kind of know my background, it's going to be bloody awesome, and get involved. And on the basis of that, we sold out the first generation, the Series 1 of the Genesis NFTs. On the 22nd of May, the Series 2 will come out, and this is the last chance you'll be able to get to invest into Commonwealth through this mechanism. And essentially $99 is the price point to mint the NFT. The first ones were $500, and we got a lot of feedback saying, guys, that's actually really expensive. Commonwealth is about like the common, the many, the 99%. And a lot of people can't just afford $500 on an NFT, even though the utility is like super premium. So we were like, okay, guys, we have to fix this. And we brought out the opportunity of a $99 NFT, which is the Series 2 Genesis NFTs. Everybody has the chance to mint those from the 22nd of May. Let me tell you, it's a bit of a different mechanism. I can talk you through that in a second.
So I think one of the questions comes to mind, and a few people already asked as well. I can see as the chat's been going up, is it's a question about speed and reliability and security, and I think where they're kind of getting at with is, if we have a look now, it's meme season. You want to interact with a contract. You even want to approve a contract. You're looking at least, $15 to $20 just to do that. And then you actually want to do the swap. It can be actually, I did a swap earlier today, and it was around $65. It was around $65 actually. So I think one of the questions here is, are you guys built on Ethereum?
Yeah, it is. It's a great question. So early stages, we didn't have a lot of these issues. We knew Ethereum. Everyone who knows Ethereum knows their roadmap. There's a lot of promises in that roadmap, but it's gotten worse, not better. Let's be honest. And especially it's been aggravated now by the meme season, the Pepe boys, and everything like this. So we've got big issues there with the sustainability of running any kind of high volume protocol on Ethereum. So we are looking very, very seriously at the moment at some of the layer 2 solutions and the roll-up solutions. I can't give an announcement yet, but we're very close to being able to talk about that publicly, and we're getting a lot of input from our community on Telegram right now, who's giving us some really high value feedback in terms of what they would like to see done. So we're looking very seriously at that, and absolutely when we do go live with the app, we will have some kind of solution in place that tackles that. For the NFTs, the ones I talked about, the Genesis NFTs, those are going to stay on Ethereum for now. We don't have any concrete decisions to move those. And I think that's, it's a bit of a dilemma, but I don't know, for any of you who trade in NFTs, there's not that many alternatives to Ethereum right now. So it's kind of like the devil you know rather than the devil you don't know. Exactly. For that one.
Well, there you go, guys. As in, I'm just telling to the viewers and the streamers right now, this is alpha. You're hearing the alpha right here. Tim might not have said it, but read in between the lines. That's what I'm going to say. But look, clearly that's always a challenge. One of the things I'm always curious about is, with any community, and that's the key word in crypto, with any project in crypto, community is always the backbone behind, where a project ultimately goes. And I suppose I've got to ask, in terms of Commonwealth, how do you plan to grow that? How do we get more people involved than, knowing about Commonwealth? Sure, you're here on the stream, but I'm curious from a, marketing perspective, how do you reach more? Because obviously the more you reach, the more the spread words, and, the more people pay attention.
So at Commonwealth, we like to talk about All Street instead of Wall Street, right? All Street is our vision, our idea of everybody in the community interacting together, and an idea of collective ownership and sharing, and it's the sum of the masses, let's say, which make up what we call All Street, which we believe is going to be way more powerful any day than Wall Street, through the decentralization movement, through the technology that's in our hands now, and the empowerment that can bring. Now, all street marketing is our vision for how we'd like to get the word out there, which means we do things slightly unconventionally. We're not going to put a huge emphasis on PR. You're not going to see us on all the live wires. You're not going to see us on, unless people want to write about us, of course, but we're not pushing that. We're not spending a lot of money. The community are funding us. So we have to be really, really conscious about putting together these like $1 million marketing budgets. We're just not going to do it, right? So what we want is the community to be advocates. Yourself, anybody listening, we actually were reaching out to our community this morning, to the Telegram group, and saying, guys, who do you love in crypto? Who do you think lives and breathes the values that you resonate with in crypto? And we actively ask them for names of accounts, and we're reaching out to those accounts, and we're saying, would you like to be an ambassador of Commonwealth? Would you like to speak about this project called Commonwealth? And we're doing that at scale. So we're trying to get very big numbers of influencers, if you want to have a better word, but we like to think of them as community marketing, people who will talk about Commonwealth because they like it. And that's the strategy in a nutshell. I can't say too much, but there is some really, really exciting community representatives that you will all know who are coming on as ambassadors and advisors to the Commonwealth project. We're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and you'll get some news pretty soon.
Guys, if you're hearing all this, I want to see more of this We Love Commonwealth in the chats. I mean, this just isn't enough. We need to be smashing that like button. So make sure you smash the like, guys. Everyone's saying Commonwealth, but I need to see that number go up. We need more likes here, guys, but we're doing good. So this leads me on to something else. Success. Success is it's always key, right? With anything you do in life, you're always trying to achieve towards success. So I'm curious, what does success look like in terms of Commonwealth? How will you know that you're moving along the right path and moving forward?
Yeah, no, great question. Love that question. I would put it in terms of like what your perspective is. If we take a short-term perspective, success is as many people as possible owning the Commonwealth Genesis NFT, which means we've been successful in diluting the ownership of Commonwealth already into the broadest possible community. And then after that, as many people as possible owning the Commonwealth token, because that means these are custodians of the protocol of Commonwealth, people who will vote on how the DAO should evolve, what the protocol should offer, how it should run. And, that for me is a huge success factor. The amount of people, the amount of unique wallets that are actually holding wealth tokens is a huge success factor. If I fast forward to 2 or 3 years from now, success looks like Commonwealth is synonymous with Robinhood, with eToro, these guys, these technology platforms who broke down the barriers to access for things that were otherwise the realm of Wall Street and, the privileged actors who, were able to sort of navigate accreditation and become, part of the club. So we would like literally hundreds of millions of people able to use Commonwealth to become more autonomous and in charge of their own sort of, wealth and financial futures.
One of the I'm going to read out one of the comments that just sort of caught my eye while you were talking, Tim. I was paying attention, by the way. But one of the comments here is, I'm in the US. I don't have the same opportunities investing in ICOs. In fact, some countries exclude me. Okay, so I think what they're getting at is that within, and I've seen it in some projects, is that not all opportunities are open to the entire world. Actually, they're geolocated. So I suppose the question that they're getting at is, how do you cater for people that are geolocated where previously they wouldn't have an opportunity? I think this is more related to, I'd say, rules and regulations within the crypto industry.
Yeah, it's a great question. No, so this question becomes the most relevant, right, when the protocol is actually fully running, and we have an application on top of it, which is allowing investors, co-investors, people to come together and invest into these early stage crypto deals. That is when this listener's question becomes the most relevant, because that is when there is actually a service that's live, right? Right now we're talking about what Commonwealth will do. So it's still in the realm of being hypothetical. But what I can say is, you know, we're working with US attorneys and experts, and we're working with people that are more focused on EU and UK. And, you know, Commonwealth is just a technology platform. What can be done with Commonwealth, if you think of it like with the tentacles of an octopus, is that many different flexible solutions can be put on top of Commonwealth that can be very specific to the locations where people are sitting. We haven't decided exactly you know, how to roll out from a geolocated perspective, but the flexibility is there for us to be able to spin up or for the protocol to spin up regional variations of the Commonwealth app. So I think whoever's listening from the US, there is ambitions for it to be compliant within the US. But again, it's just a technology platform. We're not the ones offering the service. It's, you know, for the person in the US, I think it's really interesting because they have something over there called syndicates. And, you know, Commonwealth is very close to a syndicate in that sense. So if everything goes according to plan, it should be quite easy and effortless for Commonwealth to exist as a syndicate kind of offering for people to co-invest in these kind of investment clubs. But as I say, that needs to be buttoned up before we launch the application. It's still, let's say, all in process there, and we're developing all that as we go.
There you go. Well, it's a very important aspect to keep an eye on going forward. I think before we start wrapping up this session, Tim, and there'll be plenty more, viewers, so if you like what you're hearing, tune in, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, keep smashing the likes. There'll be plenty of more of me and Tim on the stream to come. But one of the things I do want to say, Tim, and this is slightly broader beyond Commonwealth, and I can see people are asking as well, is what do you see as some of the trends and opportunities coming up in the crypto industry? What sectors should we be keeping an eye on?
It's very interesting. You know, I've got my VC company as well, which really focuses on Web3 gaming and metaverse. It was one of the big sort of touted. It was actually probably one of the reasons why the last bull run was so hyped, was because of the Web3 gaming and the metaverse. It didn't quite, you know, kind of materialize in the way people had hoped. It's the first iteration. I still am fundamentally, you know, kind of the opinion, my thesis is personally that we haven't seen the end of that. I think we're just getting started. I think some really exciting things are going to happen, especially when you start like building AI and, you know, kind of the capabilities of AI into creating content for games. I think it's fascinating. You're already starting to see some really brilliant things happening there. I can tell you what I hope it's not. I hope it's not all based on meme coins. You know,
I hope so too.
I've got way higher hopes for this industry than you know, kind of just gambling essentially. But linked to gambling, I do think there's a lot of scope in that arena as well. Actual like offerings, you know, sports betting and gambling and casinos. I think once you decentralize a lot of those elements, I think you have something very, very, very powerful. You know. I'd love to see a lot of mainstream adoption this year. So I think some of these layer ones that are alternatives to Ethereum and Bitcoin, I think can be extremely powerful. There's some sleeping giants there, in my opinion. So I just think we're, you know, once this regulation thing kind of becomes a little bit more kind of grounded and everyone can sort of understand where the future is. You know, I'm super excited for, you know, a lot of the utility to start coming to many areas in blockchain.
Perfect. There you go, guys. That's a bit more alpha there for you. So start looking at some of those areas, and maybe you might find some of those upcoming projects coming up on Commonwealth's platform at some point in the near future as well. Look, Tim, as always, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's really late your time over where you are, so certainly appreciate you coming on the stream today. Any parting words or final thoughts for our viewers? Where should they go? Where they should head off to? What socials should they check out to find out more about Commonwealth?
Yeah, I think our Twitter game is probably the strongest, guys. Yeah, really, I think if you want to keep up to date with all the news and the announcements from Commonwealth, Twitter is the place to do it. If you want to get actively involved in kind of asking questions and getting answers and kind of like, pestering us on a daily basis, Telegram is a great platform for that. We've got 300 people in there at the moment. It's very, very small, but every one of them is, you know, really proving that we're not crazy, that we're onto something. There's a lot of validation and a lot of excitement in there. They're very, very early, and there's actually quite a few prizes getting given away in there. You get a lot of whitelists. You're actually getting free mints. You're getting giveaways. Because we really are valuing that group of people highly at the moment. So yeah, Telegram and Twitter, I think, are the big ones, guys. And I look forward to seeing you over there.
Cheers, Tim. And look, thank you for the viewers for watching this episode of Decentralized Chain. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something, taken something away from it. And obviously, make sure you subscribe, share, like, hit the bell notification, do whatever you want to do that makes you happy when it comes to this stream. And of course, don't forget, make sure to check out Commonwealth's socials, check out their website, check out their Telegram, check out their Twitter. Thank you, Tim. Hope to see you again on the stream, and thank you to the viewers. And until next time, stay crypto, stay safe, guys.
Thanks for us.